All right, let's talk about a weird paradox that trips a ton of people up. Why is it that earning more money so often doesn't actually make us feel any more free? It's a surprisingly common trap, and we're going to break down exactly how it works and, more importantly, how you can get out of it. You know that feeling, right? You get that awesome pay raise, you feel like you finally made it. But then a few months go by, you look at your bank account, and you're in the exact same spot you were before. If that's ever been you, just know it's a super common experience, and it's not your fault. And that feeling, it gets right to the heart of this strange paradox of money. It's this idea that, counterintuitively, a bigger paycheck doesn't automatically mean more wealth or security. Actually, for a lot of people, it can mean the exact opposite. Look, we all have the same basic expectation. You earn more, you save more, you get wealthier, you have more freedom. Simple. But the reality for so many of us is that a higher income just becomes fuel for higher spending. Yeah, the numbers get bigger, but the actual progress, it just stays completely flat. Now, this whole phenomenon, this sneaky financial trap, it actually has a name. And just understanding what it is really the first step to taking back control. The culprit is something called lifestyle inflation. It's our simple, almost automatic tendency to let our spending expand, to fill our new, bigger income. As soon as more money starts coming in, our idea of what's normal just quietly upgrades right along with it. And here's the tricky part. It's not like you went out and bought a yacht. It's a slow creep, right? It's the slightly nicer car, the premium streaming bundle, eating out just one more time a week. Each one of those decisions feels small, totally harmless, but together they just devour our financial potential before we even realize it. So why? Why does this happen? Well, it's so important to get this. This isn't about being bad with money or lacking discipline. It's driven by some really predictable and very human psychological triggers that make it incredibly hard to resist. In a lot of ways, we are just wired for this. We see what our friends and colleagues have, and we feel this pressure to keep up. That's social comparison. We spend to feel good, to feel successful, as a reward. And then there's that really powerful belief deep down, hey, I worked hard for this, I deserve it. These things make upgrading our lifestyle feel not just nice, but totally natural. And this right here, this quote just nails the end result. You have people making what looks like a really comfortable living, but they're just as financially stressed as they were before. Their bills and obligations have just grown to swallow up all the extra cash, leaving them with more to lose and no more breathing room. But okay, enough about the problem. There is a way out. And the solution isn't just about earning more, it's about being intentional. It's about creating and widening what we're going to call the gap, that critical space between what you earn and what you spend. So this is what that trap looks like, right? Your income goes up and your spending just follows it right up the ladder, almost in perfect lockstep. That gap between them, it never really grows. This is what financial stagnation looks like, no matter how big the numbers get. But this is the goal. This is where the magic happens. Your income still goes up, but you intentionally keep your spending from rising as quickly. Maybe it just creeps up a little, maybe it stays flat. That space that opens up between the two lines, that is the gap. That is where real wealth is built. You have to see that gap as more than just empty space on a chart. Think of it like a fuel tank for your future. It's the money that you can pour into savings, into investments that grow over time. It gives you the freedom to take a risk and the security to handle a curveball. The bigger the gap, the more powerful your financial engine. So how do we actually do this? What's the antidote to this automatic habit of spending more? Well, it's not about depriving yourself or being cheap. It's all about being deliberate and making conscious choices that actually line up with what you really want long term. And the strategy here is called intentional lifestyle design. It sounds a little fancy, but the idea is simple. It just means that when you get a raise, you pause. Before that new money just gets absorbed into your day-to-day spending, you consciously decide where it's going to go. You point it toward things that build your future, instead of just letting it evaporate on autopilot. And this gets to a really critical distinction. There's the appearance of wealth. You know, the fancy car, the designer stuff, which often comes with debt and pressure. And then there's the reality of freedom, the flexibility to change jobs, the security to handle an emergency, the independence to live on your own terms. True wealth isn't about the stuff. It's about having options. So what's the path forward? It really comes down to these 3 steps. First, before any upgrade, think about its long-term impact, not just how good it feels today. Second, figure out what you truly enjoy, not what you think you're supposed to enjoy. And third, just make it your mission to grow your wealth way faster than you grow your expenses. That's it. That's the formula. So I'll just leave you with this one question to frame your decisions. The next time you're tempted by an upgrade, ask yourself, what am I really buying here? Is it this year's cool new thing? Or am I trading away a piece of a lifetime of freedom? Because ultimately, that choice is always yours to make.